Balls are back.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
Woo-hoo! I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Spotted by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the...
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now.
You found a way, okay? All right, now, what I tell you, okay? All right, this decade is going to be the decade of the Vols. You got me?
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, August 2nd. Everybody, so I noticed, because we talked about this last week, about our perception of time. Mm-hmm. Everybody feels like it's been flying since April, so that's good.
Yeah, somebody's definitely got like a time stone like Doctor Strange.
This is very weird. I don't know what world we live in. But good news is, getting closer to college football. Well, maybe getting closer to college football.
Yeah. We're at least getting closer to what they think will be the start
right.
of college football.
I'm feeling hope. Since moving to an SEC schedule, an all-conference schedule, which we'll talk about, I'm feeling more confident that they're doing everything they can to make it happen. Mm. And now, when it was originally went to like Pac-12 and Big Ten announced, I was like, they're not having a season. SEC though, it just means more down here.
Yeah, you have a little bit of more faith that they're gonna have football other than.
Yeah,
I mean the Pac-12 they don't care about football anyway.
We're
it's
trying
obvious because they've yet to be in the college football playoff.
Right. We don't want any more uproars, especially in Knoxville. We don't need people storming the streets, and I'm a little worried that might happen. But what does a college football season look like with no fans? I know this isn't written down. What does it look like? Because will they break up tailgates? Will we get arrested for tailgating?
I was thinking about that too. Do you like?
That's the one thing I would martyr for. Like, you all would see me, like when the magical things are getting rounded up in Shrek, and they're like yelling on the camera and like getting thrown in the paddy wagon. That'd be me tailgating. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're definitely going to see a lot of how supportive Tennessee fans are if you like don't try to break up the tailgates.
Yeah,
because if not, we'll just do something here.
Yeah, but how much fun would it be to be tailgating like in G10 while the game's going on?
Oh yeah, and it's completely empty.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I guess there'll be some people there, but yeah.
What's the number? What's the number right now, you think? Philip Fulmer announced this week that it wouldn't be full. He said it unofficially, I guess. What's the number?
I would say 20K.
Oh, I'm going friends and family. You better know someone on the team.
Yeah, so I mean that's probably close.
I think that's like,
and that counts media.
I think that's like, yeah, okay, media. I think fan cap 500 plus the suites. So 500 in the stadium.
Dang.
Because I don't think they're looking at social distancing. I think they're going to go friends and family only.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate
it's my
that.
thoughts.
I mean, I hate it, but I don't. Like it's you. I feel like that's an easier way to do it than be like,
right.
Hey.
Then try to decide what season ticket holders get it.
Exactly.
And then, let's be honest, the luxury suites are going to get whatever they want. If they want to be there, they're going to. And you know what? They're probably should. Like, they probably won't have may not have the food like they normally would up there and stuff because of the guidelines, but I think they'll be.
Yeah, bring your own food.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Your own tailgates to the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. The good news is, hopefully, I get a cardboard cutout in the stadium.
Nice.
That'd
be good.
I was gonna edit the picture of me dressed as a Mountie. I didn't do it yet, so maybe next show I'll reveal my cardboard cutout.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I have a couple that I could do.
I'm gonna show my favorite. I got a DM. I'll show it later in the show. That I think needs to be done, and it needs to be put behind the visitors' sidelines. I'll show you. Yeah, I'm excited to reveal that. We do have we are going to talk about the conference only schedule. Maybe a little bit more about it. If football's happening, when it happens, what that looks like. September 26th, right? That's the start date?
September 26th, yep.
That'd
Less than a month.
You know what's cool about that? So that's opening college football day. Normally, opening day's fairly boring outside of like a few games. Mm-hmm. This will be a all gas, no brakes college football weekend. That would be awesome. I don't even care if the schedule does change. why would you change like a game like Tennessee and Florida? I'm sure there's some other ones that you may move around, but if you had the opportunity to change them, why would you change Tennessee and Florida? What an opening weekend for college football.
Oh, yeah, that's great. You can't ask for a better weekend than that.
No. So, and it probably plays into Florida's favor, and I still want it. I don't know if it does. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think they'd definitely rather play in an empty stadium than Neyland Stadium. That's for sure.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
But
I just mean in terms of preparation, Tennessee, I think, has probably more questions to answer that they would have more time to if Florida was week 5, whatever it would be, 4.
Yeah, it seems like Florida plays a lot better at the start of seasons. We usually play better at the end of the season.
Right, that too. That if you're looking at recent history, that as well. I think it plays into Florida's hands, but I cannot imagine a better start for Tennessee football. It does suck that there's not fans there. That probably changes a little bit of the atmosphere, but it's still Tennessee versus Florida. You can't change that.
Yeah, and those butterflies, like, they're never going to leave. No. Like, every week they're going to be there, no matter who you're playing.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to play Furman. They're going to play a triple option. You know, that was going to be, I mean, hopefully it would have been a good game to get some freshmen in, but I don't know. I don't know how this looks with, you know, the redshirt rule. That's going to be interesting because you're going to have to throw those in conference games to get experience.
I mean, there might be a lot of guys that maybe normally play in a season, get a couple, you know, handful, 20, 30 snaps that don't see the field this year where they normally would have.
Right.
So yeah. It'll definitely be interesting. Let's just start talking about conference only schedule. If you haven't checked out our video, so make sure you're following us on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube if you want to do that, just so you can see those videos, because we did do a video a little bit, but we were hoping by now we might know our other 2 conference games, but they haven't made that decision. I'm not surprised. Yeah. But they haven't made that decision, which is understandable. And they haven't even, like, I'm assuming that means it's not Ole Miss and LSU. Why would you not just go ahead and say that? Yeah, that would have been the easy. Unless they're, like, trying to make sure. Maybe that's the last plan in place, so they're trying to figure something else out. Yeah, or they've got to they got to make sure all those schedules work. That too. You know, that's gonna be something difficult. But if it does do that, that sucks for them. Did you see who they get? It's Alabama and Auburn, isn't it? Alabama and Texas A&M. And A&M. Plus, their LSU is their non-rotating. Right. So, yeah. Yeah. Here's Tennessee's since 2014. So this is the full rotating opponent. So we played Ole Miss, Arkansas, A&M, LSU, Auburn, Mississippi State. So that's who we've played in that order if you go backwards. So Mississippi State, Auburn, LSU, A&M, Arkansas, Ole Miss. So that's who we played in recent history. I don't know if that'll have an effect on it. And then, of course, we've got Ole Miss, Arkansas this year, who we were going to play. Ole Miss, LSU, A&M, Mississippi State, and Auburn are the next opponents. Yeah. I mean, I don't care if I'm not like, obviously, if we don't play LSU, I'm not going to be upset. I'm not. If we play LSU, the only hope I have is that they allow the schedule to remain in place the next 2 years, regardless, because we wanted to go. And everybody wants to see a game in Death Valley. Any game in Death Valley would be fun, but watching your team play in Death Valley would be a lot more fun. Yeah, and for us not to be able to go this year, and then they don't redo the schedule. Correct. That would suck. Yeah, you don't get to see them for, 12 years? Yeah. 14, because you would have played them 2 years earlier. So it'd be 13 years from this year. The next time you would travel to LSU. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. So I just hope they keep those games in place if that's what they do. I'm sure there's Ole Miss fans that feel the same way about next year. I want to go to a game in Neyland, and they wouldn't get that opportunity if you played the 2 games, which does make sense, and I don't think anybody's necessarily against it. But I think everyone would agree that you would want to keep those games in place for future when you assume fans would be able to travel. Yeah, that would be the easiest way to do it. Is just, the next 2 games, we're playing them this year, we're making it happen, and then, we'll just resume whatever schedule's out there currently. Right. I think that'd be the easiest thing to do. If you're adding in Ole Miss, LSU, and then you're going to redo every single schedule from now until 2025. I think 2025 is when it resets. 2025 is when it resets, and you play. I'm sure so you could end up playing Auburn 2 years in a row, depending on how they restructured. I doubt that's what would happen, but you could. I don't know. And then they talked about strength of schedule. And I just don't understand how strength of schedule would work out, because in a perfect world, wouldn't you guys all have the same? And you're playing in an East-West division, which means you have to play all the East opponents. So, of course, your strength of schedule is going to be less, but not every East opponent can play Alabama. So that just doesn't make a ton of sense. It makes sense in like a perfect world, but it just doesn't make a ton of sense. Yeah. And are you rating them on last year? Are you rating them on what they're supposed to be this year? I don't know. Like, I just don't understand how exactly would you do strength of schedule in right now?
Be like a money ball.
Maybe. And maybe you do some kind of lottery pick.
Yeah, I think if this is the only year you plan on doing anything like this, which I think it is, that should be your plan.
And I think SEC's tried to stay away from a 10-game schedule
right.
A 10-game conference schedule as much as possible.
Right. So do something different.
Right.
You know, I think we talked about it in our video, you know, right when this was all announced, that, you know, make it fun. Do something different. Do a pump, pass, and kick. Do a selection show on SEC Network.
I think that's the realistic possibility. They're not going to get the coaches together and do a fun game. As much as I would love to see what Dylan Taylor said and see a all-out wrestling match, that's obviously not going to happen.
A Money in the Bank ladder match.
Exactly. That's unfortunately not going to happen. But, yeah, do a selection process of, if you're going to do strength of schedule, make it fun and do a reveal. I don't know how it'd work. Hopefully it'd be a good way to do it. I don't know. And do some kind of reveal like a Selection Sunday would be. Do a lottery pick like live on TV. You can make it exciting. You can have, you know, Paul Feinbaum and the SEC crew, the SEC Saturday crew, breaking down games as they pop up. I mean, do something that would make it entertaining. And I don't know how it'd work perfect. Do you throw all the, and if you scrap the schedule entirely, you might as well not play divisions. That's what doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to scrap it and go by strength of schedule, then you should start from scratch. You shouldn't play conference games or division games. Excuse me.
Okay. That would be interesting.
They've already announced that they're playing division games, so that wouldn't happen.
Right.
But I just think if you're going to do strength of schedule, it has to be one conference, not two divisions.
Yep.
Because otherwise, there's going to be a big gap somewhere for people who are pretty much playing the same schedule. Like, the strength of schedule isn't going to have this wide gap, except for 14-1.
Yeah.
Like, that's the widest. Like, other than that, the gap's not incredibly wide.
I think if you do a selection thing like that, somebody's going to get mad. Anyway, like,
right.
And or if we do it with the next two opponents, Florida's probably going to be pissed. I mean, there's going
to be Tennessee fans that don't want to play LSU.
Yeah.
And there's probably some Tennessee, I don't know what the mentality is, but
hey, Joe Burrow's gone. I'll say that. I mean, we don't have to go against that team.
I mean, that's fair, but I don't know.
I think they're still going to be a really good football team, but they're not going to be that good.
Right. They're not. It's not playing the 2019 LSU team.
I mean, that LSU team was probably one of the best teams ever.
Statistically, they're the best college football team, I think, in the last how many years. So that's what's crazy about that team. I don't hate playing the two, and I think a lot of people have said, just play it. It's the simplest way, and I agree. It's probably the simplest way, and probably the most fair way, I guess. I don't know. But my only knock is for you wanted to make this this rotating schedule that saw fans going there every so many years. Then make sure you do that in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And I understand that you don't get to travel to Arkansas, which sucks because for someone like me who wants to go to every SEC stadium, that's one I can't cross off my list. But it's like, I wouldn't have been able to do it this year anyways, whereas in 2 years, I would have been able to do it. Mm-hmm. So keep it there.
Yeah.
I agree. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. I do like, I mentioned this in our video, I like playing all SEC games. That's my biggest thing about college football. I like college football better than the NFL. I like watching it. But there's so many weeks, that week in November when everybody plays their homecoming games, and it's just a terrible week outside of like 2 games. Mm-hmm. That sucks. Like, that makes that... It is good for someone who tailgates every weekend because you're like, oh, finally a week off. But it is a boring that for,
or if you have high blood pressure.
Or if you have high blood pressure, you need to work on getting that heart rate down a little bit.
Exactly.
So that's a good thing about what, like I said, week 1 is going to be all gas. There's every single game is at least going to be interesting. It's going to have implications for the SEC rankings. It's going to be an exciting, and that's going to be every week this year. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying college football should go to this full time. I understand logistically why you play the cupcake games in college football, not just for your team, but it also funds entire athletic departments, or at least entire football teams. So I get that. I know it's never going to go away from it. I'm not saying it necessarily should, but this year could be a very, very exciting year, even without fans.
Yeah, because even like Vanderbilt and Arkansas are terrible SEC teams, but still, like, it's not a for sure that you're going to win that game.
And that's what's crazy is they could impact drastically what happens in the SEC rankings in 1 week, in just 1 week. They just need to win one game.
Right.
I don't think either of those teams will, but they just need to win one game, and they could affect it drastically. So it's gonna be fun. I'm glad with no fans that they went to conference only, and I guess they haven't announced no fans, but let's just be honest with ourselves, especially in Knoxville, in the state of Tennessee. There's not gonna be fans. Like, that's just not gonna happen. There's not gonna be a lot of fans.
Right.
I don't want to see him. I'll say that. I don't want to see him play Furman in an empty stadium. I don't want to see him play Charlotte in an empty stadium.
Yeah, I think for them, they're going to put in enough. They're going to pump in enough noise where it's maybe not as. It's definitely going to be weird, but it's not going to be like playing a scrimmage. I don't think.
Right. No, I agree with that. I think they'll make the TV experience pretty normal. It'll feel pretty normal, I think.
Right. Because the NBA, I mean, it's different, but it's not like what you thought when you thought of no fans.
Right.
Like, it's not dead quiet.
And baseball's a little weird. Because first off, have you watched baseball games?
Yeah.
The pumped-in noise is terrible.
Yeah, it's like.
But I guess
it's like a video game.
I guess it's hard to. I don't even know if it changes volumes that much. Like, it feels like the volume's the same. It feels like you hear a bunch of people talking.
Yeah, I'm sure.
With a couple cheers.
I'm sure some of it is it probably is different for each stadium.
Right.
But I watched the Yankees Red Sox last night, and I thought it was good. I mean, you get weird cheers anytime the ball gets past the catcher or anything like that. It's weird, but it's it's. I think it's as normal as it can get.
Right, and baseball might be a cool sport to not like. I love that soccer, MLS, and then European games, you can find a channel that doesn't have any crowd noise. And what's cool about that is there's so much communication going on in the game, and if you follow soccer closely, like, that's cool to hear. Basketball the same way with TBT, they didn't have any crowd noise. It was awesome to hear them because they're constantly communicating through plays, talking.
Yeah.
Like, football's not that way.
Right.
You pretty much, your only time you're talking is pre-snap, and then for 10 seconds, it's not even 10 seconds, it's done. And then there's some more talking, and it's just kind of weird. I'd prefer crowd noise for football.
Oh yeah.
And even probably for NBA basketball too, prefer crowd noise.
Yeah.
But it's cool to hear them communicate. That's not the way it is with football. So yeah, crowd noise definitely.
But I don't think the crowd noise is it's not gonna be like a home field advantage type of thing.
No.
It's just to try to make it a normal game, but it's not like it's gonna be a home game or anything like that. It's gonna be based.
I wonder what the rules will be for that, because there'll be some very specific rules that'll be interesting to see.
Yep.
Because the home team, if they can, they're depending on if they're pumping or noise into the stadium.
Noise.
Yeah, if they're pumping noise into the stadium, I don't know if they'll even be doing like. Is the MLB doing that?
Yeah,
they are. Okay, I didn't know if it was just over the the TV broadcast.
Oh no, it's
in the stadium.
Yeah,
I think that'd be weird to play in front of. What's going on?
Well, it's not that way with college sports, but like you can't do that in high school sports. You can't even have like artificial. Well, you can't in Neyland Stadium either.
Right.
The artificial stuff. So that's gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be different.
Yep.
Except for the freaking cowbells in Mississippi State.
Which you can have those.
Cowbells are the most annoying things on planet Earth, and we're like, yeah, we'll let 70,000 of them in a stadium. Mm-hmm. That's a stadium I don't really care. I mean, I'm going to go to it because it's an SEC stadium, but I'm like, I'm going to leave early because I'm going to have a pounding headache. Well, hopefully they'll just be sad all game. Tennessee will be very good by then.
Yeah, maybe we won't have to hear that. That's
the dream.
You're right.
That's the dream.
That's
to go to Mississippi State and
not
never
hear a cowbell.
That's why they suck. All those teams get pissed off hearing that, and they will not let them score.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a bad.
What do you think about Oklahoma? I mean, that game's going to be pushed out to.
Yeah, I wonder how that'll work. How that contract will work. It's Tennessee just like, oh, we're good. We don't need to play that game. Like,
right.
Well, I don't know why Dave Hart signed this contract.
Right. Exactly.
We played you guys 6 years ago. So when are they? Is it 2023 when they're supposed to be coming to Knoxville?
I think it's 2024.
2024.
Maybe.
So I mean that I guess
I think that's right.
So I guess so you're talking about logistically how that happens. Does Oklahoma buy out of that game, or do both teams agree to just terminate that contract, or does Tennessee try to reschedule and go to Oklahoma?
I mean, I think they'll probably reschedule it, but they can't do it until like they're not gonna play Oklahoma and BYU in the same year. They're not
Right, that's what I'm saying. So it'll have to be pushed out further,
like 2026 or whenever that.
So Oklahoma will have won like 8 Heismans by then. Good.
Right. Yeah.
Perfect.
And it's weird, like we'll have no clue what we'll look like at that point.
No.
Because nobody will be on this team except for maybe one. There'll be one player from each team that's probably like been there.
He's
for,
fifth year
for 8
senior
years.
with an injury. He's had 2 injury red shirts.
Yeah.
So looking at this schedule, so we already get Arkansas, which is I think probably a dream to happen this year. Like you're like, if any year you want this, if you're gonna have to play 10 SEC games. Mississippi State and Ole Miss. If you get them, you are loving life.
Oh yeah.
Tennessee would favor the most from 1 forward, 1 back.
It'd be great.
How fantastic would that be?
I mean, then I think 7-3 is like that's what you better go.
Right.
But I think 6-4 is the most realistic if they were to do that LSU and Ole Miss.
What if Tennessee gets absolutely just screwed? You get Alabama, obviously, and then LSU, Auburn, Texas A&M, one of those.
That would suck. I mean, you have to like 5-5 is like
Yeah. See, I feel like,
but then you're in the SEC. Like how 5-5 is you lost to what 4 top 10 opponents. I mean, so like, what's your ranking gonna be?
top 25, I guess.
I mean, if you're competitive in all those games, but you lost and you're 5-5,
yeah, but there's
you're
gonna be
a pretty good team.
There's gonna be like 4 Big Ten teams that don't lose a game,
It's gonna be
unless Iowa gets to play them all, and then they
right.
upset them. So, I think realistically, if you're like looking at the schedule and trying to schedule teams that, so you don't want to play Ole Miss 2 years in a row or whatever, LSU, I think Texas A&M's a viable option because you played them last in 16. You won't play them again until 2023. I feel like they're a viable option. Auburn, you don't see them again until 2025. You just played them. I know it's 2 years ago, but that was in 18. So if they're trying to get around playing teams close together, I think that's. But I don't know how they'll set it up. I have no clue.
And I just think like, I think it's you got to do a schedule. You got to do a schedule for each team this year, and then that should be the only work you should have to do. Then just like resume it. This is a year. It's a weird year anyway.
I agree. That's the biggest thing with like TSSAA. When they were making decisions, they were like, "Well, here's our rules," and I was like, "Can we not go in and recreate rule? Like, say this is a year you can make an exception. Why is that not a thing? You just canceled an entire season. You're never going to do that again,
Right.
So you're not saying like you're not setting precedents. You're making exceptions for a year that has been absurd,
Right.
So that's what I don't understand about it all. It's like, well, this is how we've always done it. We just canceled the season, or we changed our season, or whatever.
This is hopefully it's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
And we get past it, and it's over with, and you go back to normal.
Yeah, I don't understand it. So Power T-Tape did, I think he ranked the schedule.
Yeah, he did a strength of schedule.
Toughest season based on his rankings. So I guess he did his own rankings for how he thought the year would be, and then ranked the schedule. So I'll read that off real quick. Number 1's Auburn. This is strength of schedule, not his ranking. Strength of schedule based on his ranking, Power T-Tapes. He said number 1 was Auburn, number 2 Georgia, number 3 and 2 number 3s, tied for third. Alabama, Florida, 5th LSU, 6th Kentucky, 7th Tennessee, and Ole Miss, both tied for 7th. South Carolina, 9th, Missouri, 10, Vanderbilt, 11, Arkansas, 12, A&M, 13, Mississippi State, 14. That seems probably about right. I thought Vanderbilt might be higher.
Yeah, well, I couldn't believe that Texas A&M, Mississippi, like a West team would be at the bottom.
That is very surprising. I don't know who their East opponents are this year. A&M's, South Carolina's, they're non-rotating. Mississippi State's is Kentucky. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are two. That's your non-rotating East. That makes sense. That it's not as tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's so.
So who would that have us playing?
Hold on a second. I'll pull it up. Let's see. So this is to be Tennessee's schedule if based on that ranking, which I guess it wouldn't be. It wouldn't necessarily be their schedule, but what Power T-Tape laid out if it was. Play Auburn first, then travel to Georgia, travel to Ole Miss, Kentucky, at South Carolina, Alabama, Florida, Missouri, at Vanderbilt, at Arkansas.
So we get
I guess he
Auburn and Ole Miss.
Yeah, I guess he just added Auburn and Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Because you got to play your East. That's the thing is you got to play your East.
That's not that bad.
No,
I would probably rather play Auburn than LSU.
I would agree with that. I think both are probably about the same.
Yeah, you're probably splitting hairs. But.
Yeah, and he has it all on a bye week on October 31st. I think I like the idea of having one big bye week in the middle of the season. Let teams, if teams are having to quarantine people. I don't know how that works. Rob Manfred's out here threatening to cancel the whole season if they don't get it together, which I understand being pretty upset with. Apparently these guys are going out to clubs and casinos.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
well, what's going to be difficult about baseball is when you get further on in your season, you get teams that are just terrible. They're not going to care, so they're just going to go and do whatever and not worry about the season. So,
how do you not have rules in place for that? Is beyond me.
I have no clue.
Beyond me.
I think he thought he was dealing with.
Apparently the memo was 111 pages, and you don't have rules for players going out.
Yeah, what did you put in that? Just the same word for.
And I understand people are like, they're adults, they make their own decisions. I was like, yeah, but if they want to get paid millions of dollars to play the game, they got to follow the rules of them trying to keep everyone safe, and I feel like that. I don't know. It's just stupid.
Yep.
Stupid.
I think it's interesting to have the season start on September 26th. So you basically have 7 weeks of.
I would assume that means they're pushing fall camp back, right?
Right. Yeah, okay. But I mean, you could potentially have 7 weeks of at least getting work in. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to help freshmen out who didn't have a spring practice.
Yep.
Kind of get more time in front of the coaches, more time to implement an offense, a defense. So I mean, I think you could see a lot more freshmen have an opportunity to play right away rather than waiting longer in the season.
Yeah.
But it is going to be interesting because you start with a gauntlet. Like you start if Florida is your first game, that's a tough game to just start a freshman quarterback.
Right.
It's a tough game to start a freshman at any position.
Any position. Yeah. Any position.
It's going to be interesting. So I mean, I'm
excited though. I agree it's going to be interesting, but I think it just makes it a little bit more exciting.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be exciting. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, it's going to be exciting.
If we get college football back, I'm pumped.
Exactly.
I'm pumped. Let's jump to the linebacker preview. This is a position, speaking of exciting, that I think just really just one guy probably generates most of the excitement for this position. But if you followed him last year, you know why. That's Henry To'oTo'o. The dude is a phenomenal player.
Yeah, he's your stud. He's probably, last year, I would think he was probably your best defensive player last year. You're close to it.
You probably say Batuli, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was second in tackles. Mm-hmm. I think he was up there in tackles for a loss. I think he had 3 sacks.
He had 0.5 sacks.
Oh, okay.
He had 5 tackles for loss, 72 total tackles, a fumble recovery, and 2 pass deflections. But I just think him not being an early enrollee and him coming in fall camp, basically just like, I'm starting, and to be prepared physically to do a full schedule, a full SEC schedule like that, and then be prepared for it mentally. I think that's the hardest part for freshmen. It's not. I think a lot of these kids come in physically talented. It's just mentally, the game is so much faster than it is in high school. So you have to prepare for that. Different. Prepare for so many different. With him, it was preparing for different offenses. But he comes from a good program, and I think that's a big reason why Jeremy Pruitt and his staff focus on guys that come from good programs.
Right.
Because it just makes that transition so much easier.
Yeah, I'd say that certainly helps. And that's pretty crazy. I mean, I think people forget that he wasn't here for spring practice last year and was still a day one starter. That probably had a lot to do with how thin that linebacker group was last year. But at the same time, you turned around at the end of the season and you were not upset that you had to or whatever or chose to start a freshman at that position. He definitely earned that.
Yeah,
that starting position when it was all said and done. And I think he's going to be the anchor of this defense. And hopefully they went out and because they had to address a lot of those needs. Thankfully, they're not having to start a bunch of freshmen there, but they went out and you're going to see freshmen at the linebacker position. And they went out and addressed those needs, and I think got a lot of talent in there. I don't think either Tyler Barron or Morven Joseph start, but they're going to be guys that get a lot of playing time, and they certainly could find starting positions at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think those are two guys you definitely utilize in those 4 games if you can.
Yeah.
And I mean, nobody's proven at that outside linebacker position, so you have an opportunity to come in fall camp and impress and get your name high on that depth chart.
Yeah, and DeAndre Johnson probably gets he's probably your starter right now if you got a depth chart. He's probably that number 1 guy. But I don't see him going out as we've seen him so far in his career, going out and just flat out winning that position.
No, I think it's what you get out of him, and that's probably why you might go with him. But I think Roman Harrison is a guy that could dethrone him and be opposite of Kevon Bennett, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a guy.
I think his ceiling is definitely higher than DeAndre Johnson's.
Yeah, I mean, Roman Harrison could definitely be a guy. What does that rotation look like with Kevon Bennett? So you have Kevon Bennett starting then at Sam.
Right.
I don't know. What does that look? And it probably depends a lot, too, on what you get out of your 2 freshmen that are probably going to be seeing playing time there, whether they start or not. I don't know. I doubt it. But, yeah, and then maybe Roman Harrison gets a start and makes it really interesting to see what happens to those 2 freshmen.
Speaking of, and I think, I know we're talking about the 2021 class here in a little bit, but I think getting Dylan Brooks in here next year is going to be an absolute game changer for that outside linebacker position. And Tyler Barron, he's a big kid.
Yeah.
And so if he's in a college weight room, I mean, he looks like he could put on a lot more weight and be able to maybe be a defensive lineman. Like an end type, like a Matthew Butler, Darrell Middleton type. I mean, I don't see him as a defensive tackle, but, he's somebody that you could utilize with the hand in the dirt.
I'm sure. And the good thing about guys like Tyler Barron is you're probably just trying to find ways to put him on the field.
Yeah.
Because like you said, he's a big kid. I think he's got a lot of those intangibles that can't be coached. If you watch his highlight film, he is big and fast and is a terror for offensive lines. I don't know if I would imagine with his dad, being on staff at UT, he's probably got quite a bit of the mechanics down too. You just imagine the coaching he's probably gotten over his career. Don't know that to be 100% sure though. But a lot of teams were impressed by him. I think the top 5 was Ohio State, Kentucky, Tennessee. I'm trying to remember who else. Is there another Big Ten team?
I know those are kind of the final 3.
Okay. I think there's another Big Ten team in the top 5. Excuse me. But that's a pretty good offer list.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Ohio State right there is going to tell you that.
And you probably need him an outside linebacker this year because you don't have a ton of depth like you were talking about. So this year, do you kind of redshirt him and kind of keep him there? But next year, you have a plan in place to have him at defensive line because you lose 7 defensive linemen next year.
7 guys, which is absurd and dangerous.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. That one's going to be interesting. I think the key to this defense success is who are you going to get? Are you going to get the production that you got from Henry T last year out of Quavaris Crouch next to him? Because I think the talent's there. But I think mentally, maybe he wasn't as prepared as Henry To'oTo'o was last year.
Right.
He played outside linebacker, and he didn't fit that position. He was more of an inside backer body type. So I'm interested to see what he's like during this whole 7-week camp OTA thing.
What happens in it? Who knows?
I'm interested in that, and I'm also interested in see Jeremy Banks is.
That was the name I was about to mention because I think a lot of people are probably wondering. First off, and it's rumored right now that he will be reinstated in August, back with the team. Is he going to be available week 1? I'm gonna guess. I don't know because he was, I guess, technically, if you look at it that way, was suspended all year last year. Is that punishment enough?
Yeah, I mean, Juwan Jennings had to do a lot to get back
Yeah.
on the team. So yeah, I'm sure I think he's back with the team, but I'm sure he's doing a lot of like getting back where he's actually reinstated,
Right.
or it's official. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it's unofficially official. I think right now that he's back with Tennessee. I would imagine it's something you see. I would assume they were going to announce it in fall camp because you release a roster, and that name's going to be on there. But now with fall camp being pushed back, I don't know when he gets reinstated. I guess it may not be pushed back. I don't know what that structure will look like, but.
Well, do you remember Jeremy Pruitt was talking about Jeremy Banks, and when he moved over to linebacker, he was like, "Yeah, we want Jeremy Banks on the field because he's one of our best players."
Yeah.
So if Tavares Crouch beats him, do you see Jeremy Banks move to like a outside linebacker type if you need bodies there?
I think you're going to. I think what you said about him with what Pruitt said, they want to get him on the field. I think that they're going to play him wherever they think he can make the most impact. Yeah.
Because I mean,
Could that be the offensive side of the
I
ball?
agree. I think the kid is talented. There's no doubt. I mean, he produced at linebacker. He's leading the team in freaking interceptions before he got in trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested to see where Jeremy Banks is at, and there's a lot of question marks at this. Now that I'm thinking about it, you got Jeremy Banks, you got you got a bunch of freshmen that could potentially make an impact at outside linebacker.
J.J.
You got
Peterson.
J.J. Peterson, who we don't even know is on the damn campus yet.
Right. Yeah, like you said, there are. I don't know. Yeah, question marks about the depth, maybe.
Yeah,
That might be what.
I
Because I think the starting four is pretty sound.
yeah.
Like you said, you kind of know what you get out of DeAndre Johnson. It's not like he's not head and shoulders better than anybody. Like I think there's a legitimate chance he gets beaten out at some point throughout the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kevon Bennett, kind of probably along the same lines as DeAndre Johnson. I don't know if he gets beat out just because I don't know where the guys behind him would stand.
I think he showed flashes last year, like he could make the jump to be a really good edge rusher at this in this conference. You just got to see it more often, and it's no knock on him. I mean, Darrell Taylor didn't show a ton of it. I mean, there was games where he looked like he could be.
He looked like an all-SEC player in some games.
And then sometimes it just kind of disappeared.
Yep.
So I'm interested to see kind of how he does in the NFL. But Kevon Bennett, I like him. I like him at outside backer. I think he had a couple good games. The Indiana game, I think he had a good game against Kentucky. I'm pretty sure he had a pretty good game. He only had 2 sacks. I thought he had more than that. 2 sacks. He had 27 tackles last season, opposite of Darrell Taylor. So I don't know. Because I think Kevon Bennett's probably your best guess to lead the team in sacks, but
Probably.
that's also kind of scary.
Yeah, because that may not mean you're getting a ton of sacks.
Right. So yeah, I think getting to the quarterback, I don't see a ton of guys. Dylan Brooks, I feel like could be that Derek Barnett type.
I would love nothing more than that.
Exactly. Now I'm not saying he's going to come in and break all these records. I would love for that. But I think he can be a legit threat each and every game.
And what this team's really lacking on the defensive side of the ball in terms of the front seven is a true pass rusher,
And a racer. A guy that if there's a mistake in the back end, a quarterback's not going to be able to get the ball off.
Right.
I mean, that was Derek Barnett. That's what made him so great is you had to account for him every single play.
Yeah, and if Tennessee was able to add a legitimate pass rusher, it would alleviate a lot of that stress on the secondary. That right now it's the secondary. You have quite a bit of talent, but at the same time, there's still quite a few mistakes in that secondary that have got to be made up for. And you're looking at it, and you're like, if Tennessee doesn't have a great pass rush, do those mistakes get erased? Do you have someone that can help? And you're not confident. You have some guys that could make plays. Are they going to make them game after game? That's a big question mark. I don't know. And you hope maybe some of the talent that's younger, maybe you can come in and you may just be rotating. You may be playing kind of like running back you did last year, playing the hot hand. Mm-hmm. Whoever's playing the best that game is going to get more snaps. It's just the way it is. Because right now you don't have a guy that can go play 12 games, 10 games this year in this case, and be consistent day in and day out and give you probably what you need each game. I don't even know if you're going to have a guy every game.
Yeah.
That's a question.
Yep. Definitely going to be interesting. Also, two guys I want to mention, too, is Martavius French and Bryson Easton, the Whitehaven. And I guess you could throw Tamarion McDonald in there as well. I don't know exactly where he plays, if he's going to be a backer or a, maybe safety type.
Right.
He's kind of a tweener, so I don't know if he's going to lose weight when he gets, through this program or if he's going to put on weight and be a linebacker. Those are three guys I think you'll see. Maybe if there's some blowouts at linebacker, but I think you're going to see a lot of them on special teams.
Yeah, I think Bryson Easton has a legit chance to be playing a lot of snaps this year.
Yeah. I mean, I think both of those guys have a good chance.
I mean,
now,
how confident are we in Damarius Crouch being just a dominant player next to Henry Toto?
I'm hoping that him like a natural position for him. I hope that makes him more comfortable and better, and then playing alongside Henry Toto.
Yeah,
they came in together, and Daniel Batuli kind of mentored Henry Toto, so hopefully Henry T is able to do the same thing that kind of Daniel Batuli did to him. Just prepare him to play those conference games.
Absolutely. And then if it's not Damarius Crouch, I don't know if it's J.J. Peterson. And then I think you're going to get a legit look at Bryson Easton.
Yeah. I mean, Jeremy Banks.
And maybe Jeremy Banks.
Yeah. I don't know. And then Aaron Beasley's another guy who played that position. Sloan Page is another one that just kind of saw the field from default because you didn't really have anybody left.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys I think that could play it. How well? I don't know.
Right.
That's the talent is the.
I think Crouch is a safe bet to probably be next to Henry Toto. But
yeah, I think Crouch is a starter from week one. But it's what can you do every game? That's the question.
Yep.
What can you do? Also, with how many times Tennessee players got ejected last year, you better have someone ready to go.
Exactly.
Good God. That's a rule that needs to be fixed. Fast.
Let's try it this year. Let's try it.
Right. Try something. Try anything new. Anything.
Let's do something to maybe not have so many ejections.
Right.
For incidental contact.
Yeah. And it's absurd that it could cost you, which it's better in college than it is high school, where it costs you 2 games in high school. In college, though, why are you having to sit out the next? I don't know. It's dumb.
Yep.
It's dumb. Real dumb. Anything else for linebackers besides let's not get ejected?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I think there is question marks, and I think that's kind of the same with the defensive line. You have your stud in Henry Toto, and he's your best player on defense by far.
Might be your best player on the team.
Yeah, him or Trey Smith is probably
Eric
one
Gray,
too.
maybe.
Yeah, they're probably
People will probably argue he's not proven enough. That's fair.
Yeah,
I'll take that argument.
Yeah. So
what do you think the biggest question mark for this team is? Because I think it revolves around the linebackers.
I think it's getting to the quarterback.
Are they pass rush?
Yeah, are they gonna be? Is it defensive line? Are they gonna be able to do it? Or if they don't, can the outside linebackers get to him? And if they can't, I don't know what you do. You're gonna have to throw a lot of. And the good thing about Jeremy Pruitt's defense, he throws everybody.
He's very creative in it, so that's good. It doesn't. You don't just rely on the outside linebackers to get to the quarterback.
Yeah,
that's the good news.
The star, the corners, they can come at any moment.
Yeah, but I think but anytime you want a good, consistent pass rush, it's going to require really good outside linebacker play. So that's what you need, and I think that's the biggest question mark on this team when you look at it as a whole. Quarterback obviously is a question mark, but you do have a 5th-year senior or a stud freshman, and there's nothing better than the backup 5-star freshman quarterback.
Exactly.
There's not a better position on the field. So, I mean, quarterback's a question, but not as big. And then, obviously, receiver's a little bit of question mark, but you do know you have talent there. Pass rush, you got quite a bit of questions. Mm-hmm. So, I'd like to see that get figured out really, really early on. Maybe you get a little bit more creative, too, going back to the 10-game SEC schedule. Maybe you get a little bit more creative early on because you've got to kind of throw everything at whoever your first opponent is to make stuff happen. You can't be real bland, and I don't know.
I think whoever wins a job between Jeremy Banks and Damarius Crouch, I think it will
Crouch,
be Crouch. you see Jeremy Banks be that short yardage back. I think you could see the freshman have an opportunity, but
I don't.
Jeremy.
I don't personally. I don't take Quavarius Crouch from that. He did it so well, till you lose it. I don't care if you're a starting linebacker, because he only did it twice in a row, right?
Yeah,
Once last year
on the goal line, but if
he's not going to be
you
playing
want
a ton
him
of snap.
to be the guy on defense, do you put that on him too? I don't know. That's not a decision I'm gonna make. I'm just something to think about.
And your big question mark right now is Jeremy Banks. Can he hang on to the football? If you're talking about him,
Right. So
you don't wanna
hopefully you
lose the
just
ball
give
on
it
the
to him
goal
on the goal line, and hopefully he doesn't get touched. Hopefully we at least give it to him.
that too. Yeah, I personally don't take it away. Even if I don't care if Quavarius Crouch if he's played 80 snaps that game, and goal on last play of the game,
Walk in.
I give it to Quavarius Crouch right now. If
Yeah,
we know everything,
I would agree with that.
so
I just
because the few times he got the ball last year in that package, he ran the ball really well.
Oh, I agree.
So
But he wasn't playing the snaps.
he was not playing the snaps.
Right.
I definitely recognize that. But you're only asking for what, 2 yards most of the time?
Give me 2 yards.
Max 2 yards. Like you said, hopefully he's doing it untouched anyways. So
Yeah.
I think even taking 80 snaps, I think I trust him. In that package, you're rarely going to run it twice in a row.
Right.
Like even twice in a row. You're almost never going to run it twice in a drive. So it's not like he's on the field a lot offensively.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely like to see Crouch continue that duties until it's. I mean, if you don't find a permanent place for Banks in the linebacking group, I don't hate the idea of him getting more snaps at running back. Short yards package, maybe not, 2 yards. Maybe it's more like 3 or 4. Maybe you have 2 running backs on the field at the same time. You're not in a heavy set. I don't hate Banks has played offense plenty. I don't hate the idea of him being on the field offensively. Find a way to get. He is a baller.
Yeah.
If he's going to be on the team, find a way to get him on the field offensively, defensively, special teams, whatever it is.
Right. I agree.
Whatever it is.
Got to.
Going to the 2021 class. Starting with a commit.
Yeah, commit Damarius McGhee to the heel, baby.
Again, if you haven't seen our video, we did talk about it the night he committed, afternoon he committed. Make sure you go check those out, and then we'll always go a little bit more in depth on the show. So don't worry, you'll get plenty.
Yeah,
plenty of talk.
I think it was good for Jeremy Pruitt and Derek Ansley to finally land a true cornerback.
Yeah, they're like all been athletes.
Yeah, all been athletes, all been kind of guys that you've developed into that position. Even Warren Burrell, who was like a 3-star. This is a high-rated kid, 4-star cornerback, number 89 player per 247.
He's also 3-star. Like a lot of people are like, well, he's a 3-star composite. Is it 2-star on Rivals?
Yeah, Rivals has him as a 2-star. I don't think they've updated rankings.
Yeah, how can you get from a 4? What's the discrepancy where you get from a 4 to a 2-star?
I don't know. Unless they've just like not done anything.
I have no idea. It's very weird.
Because watching the film, I'm like, okay, that dude's good.
I need to pull up his actual rival stats, see where he's at on the.
Maybe they update it. I don't even think they have the picture updated. The last time I saw it,
the composite's still 3-star.
Okay,
but he's like 26 cornerback and 6. Oh, there it goes. 62nd player and ranked in Florida, but he's 12th. That is a big difference.
Yep.
You're not talking about going from 12th to 20th.
Right.
Like, it's a big difference. So I don't know.
Yeah, and you have 247 has him as the number 8 cornerback in the country. Good offer list, too. Had Tennessee in his top 5. He released on June 10th with Georgia, Ole Miss, Louisville, and Miami. And then Alabama offered him 2 days later.
Yeah.
So they were interested. It wasn't like a he had a couple SEC teams in his top 5, and he ends up going to Louisville.
Right.
I mean, this kid was legit, and Alabama tried to get in there late, and Tennessee, man.
Yeah. I like it. And so Rivals, what is happening? Rivals, sorry about that, guys, if we have any issues. They have him, picture's not even updated, 2-star with no rankings, national position, state, nothing. Oh. So they just haven't even evaluated him, right?
I guess.
Or I guess since he's a 2-star, but like I said, I don't know.
Yeah, how do you do you at least not just go on 247? Oh, who do they have in their top 100? We at least need to evaluate them some way.
Right. I don't know. It's weird, man. Don't
get that, but he's an elite playmaker. He's he just finds the end zone. Every time he has the ball, he finds the end zone. Whether it's a punt return, a kick return, interception return, the kid just finds the end zone. It reminded me like if Eric Berry, it reminded me of his college highlight tape where he just finds the end zone every time he touches the football.
Do you remember, speaking of that, do you remember in 2009, he had that interception return for a touchdown against Georgia? Would have been the record-breaking, most return yards in his college football history. They ruled it a fumble.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so stupid.
Yeah, that'll piss you off. But I like the he's tall for a corner too. He's 6'1".
He is.
That's good long corner. Like he's not going to get mossed on the outside.
Hopefully he won't.
Hopefully.
I'm not willing to say he won't.
Right. Yeah, but hopefully. Just stick your arm up. You're good. You're tall enough.
Yeah, I like this pickup. I like what you said about this being a true corner where they've gone and gotten. So this is a guy who's played a lot of this position, and he does play a lot of positions on the football field, but he plays corner,
right?
Pretty much, full time. And also, if you all have heavy questions, drop them in the chat. I'm on YouTube. I forgot to mention that we got right into the show. Landon's on Facebook. I'm on YouTube and Twitter. Drop those questions in, and we'll get to them if we see them. If we don't see it, type it, send it twice, 3 times. I promise we'll get to it.
Yep. I think what makes this addition so, such a big one is, Alontae Taylor and Bryce Thompson that'll be after their junior season when he gets on campus, so they could potentially leave for the NFL draft if they have a good season.
Yeah.
Kenneth George will be gone. He's a senior. Sean Schamberger will be gone. So that's potentially 4 of your top corners that'll be gone. So this is a kid who has the potential to come in and play right away.
Yeah, certainly. And Jerry Pruitt has shown he's not afraid to start freshmen.
Oh, yeah.
So it's definitely possible. Definitely possible.
Also, go check out our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House and Hound Dogs. We didn't mention that. We just went right into it.
We went right into it. I think we were excited about the 10-game schedule, and we were all gas, no breaks.
That's fine.
Like the Tennessee schedule.
Yeah,
so
just like the conference.
That's what happened there. It's definitely what happened there.
Yeah, but go check them out. They make this show possible, so do us a favor and go visit them.
Yeah, do it. 2021 class.
It's looking good, man. 24 commits.
So not a lot of room.
Nope.
Better get in now.
Yeah, jump in the boat.
Yep. Better get in now. It's like you said, so there's a lot of questions going into 2021 in terms of defensive line and potentially defensive back.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if you look at the class right now, obviously there'll be some movement. Do you feel like that need has been addressed?
I do. I think with who you got right now, in the secondary, you got Jay Jones, Edwin White. I think Elijah Howard would probably be moved over to defensive back. Damarius McGhee, obviously, and Cayman Marley could potentially be. I'm interested to see what they do with all these athletes they have in this. Mm-hmm. Cayman Marley, 6'2", 206, that just reminds me of a safety body.
Right.
Trinity Bell, he's an athlete. He's 6'7", 260. Does he play tight end? Does he play defensive line? Rock Taylor's 6'2", 212. Is he, do you put him at receiver? Do you put him at tight end? I think it's going to be interesting. You just get good players in here.
Right.
And then you kind of put them where you need them. And I like that. But I also like this class has a ton of potential when you look at them addressing needs. Tight end, number one.
Yeah.
I think you went right for that one. Hudson Wolf.
Could be a bigger need this year than you originally thought.
Right. Hudson Wolf, Miles Campbell, Trinity Bell could be that. Rock Taylor. You have a lot of options in that class. I think the only one that they really haven't addressed a ton is offensive line.
Yes.
Only got one guy.
Probably going to need, could see a lot of guys leaving this year. Mm-hmm. Now, last class, you had four in?
Yeah, you had Cooper Mays, Spraggins, Robinson. They're kind of interior linemen. This year you need tackle bodies. Colby Smith is one. He's a tackle body. So I don't know. You got Diego Pounds, William Parker that can maybe fit that need. But if you have 24 guys, I think that 25th has to be an offensive lineman. in my opinion.
Yeah, but
Or a 5-star linebacker.
I also don't truly know if you're at 24 though.
No, you're probably not. I mean, there's definitely going to be, especially if things opens up, there's going to be a lot of people go and want to visit.
Right.
And that's going to lead to some decommits, and maybe land people you weren't going to.
Right.
They come see Tennessee. So, but I think my favorite one in this class, and it's we just talked about him, is the edge rusher, and that's Dylan Brooks. Borderline 5-star out of Roanoke, Alabama. I just think 6'5", 250, and just a freak athlete that he is, he's going to come in and probably be the day one starter. You need a racer, and he's that type of guy.
There are a lot of guys so far in this class right now, currently in the class, that I think are there that you could be excited about. That's Terrence Lewis, Dylan Brooks, Aaron Willis, Cody Brown, Kamen Marley, a bunch of guys. I think the most underrated guy, maybe not to everybody, Deshaun Rucker. He's just a 3-star. I love how hard he runs and hits.
Yep.
I think that could be an exciting player to watch. Don't know where he stands as far as a day one starter. He's 5'10", 170. I don't know if they want more size on him, but he doesn't play like that size, so that probably helps that case. And there could be some spots open in the secondary there for him to get some early playing time. Probably not a starter position, but early playing time. And you mentioned you liked what you saw out of Damarius McGhee's Eric Berry-esque. If you're talking about hitting people hard, Sean Rucker hits people about as hard as Eric Berry did.
Yeah.
He tries to.
Yeah, he that 170 body that he's listed at,
he's throwing all of it.
Yeah,
he's throwing all of it.
Yeah.
So I like him a lot. I love watching him play. If he's hitting people like that in orange, you may see an ejection, but you saw a hard hit too. That's the good news.
Yep. Also, I like how he gets people from good programs. Aaron Willis, Katron Evans at St. Francis, one of the best programs in the country. Also like what I saw out of Caden Salter. Did you see the 7-on-7?
I didn't get to watch it. I think it was VR2. I think I read that article. I read an article, I think it was VR2's, that talked about how he had a good 7-on-7 day Saturday, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, a lot of people look good on 7-on-7, but he throws the ball well. He throws the ball hard. He just seemed to fit it in tight windows.
Yeah.
He looked good.
The dude in Middle Tennessee. Oh my gosh.
Middle Tennessee.
The NFL quarterback. Oh my gosh. Coaches at Lipscomb now.
Dilfer?
Yeah, Trent Dilfer. He was pretty high on Caden Salter. He had some good things to say about him.
Yeah.
So I like that. I mean, that may be just an Elite 11 thing, too. I hate that the Peyton Manning Passing Academy didn't happen this year, because my favorite yearly Peyton Manning Passing Academy game to play is, what good thing is Archie Manning going to say about a Tennessee quarterback? He always gives the biggest endorsement. It's like Justin Worley got one, Peterman got one. Yeah. I'm sure Dobbs got one. JG, I think, got one. He would have gotten a huge one this year. He's a fifth-year guy. It's going to be exciting to watch. You would have gotten a huge endorsement from at least one of the Mannings on how a Tennessee quarterback performed.
Right.
I think the only quarterback I've heard them talk bad about, and bad's probably a loose term, is Johnny Manziel. And I think all they said was like, yeah, we had to send him home early. that was pretty much it. So,
which is understandable. Like now they're like, oh, that's all you did. You should have done a lot more.
I think he just didn't wake up in time for a workout, which I don't know if he was leading or
because
I guess he was leading.
Did he go to Magic City with Lou Williams
Probably.
the night before?
Yeah. I mean, he was that place is near New Orleans, just a short drive to New Orleans.
So he's on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, he might have been getting into some more trouble than that.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Also like Cody Brown. I think he's a different back than Tennessee has on that roster. 6 foot, 227 pounds, and runs really well for 227 pounds.
Yeah.
And plays, at a really good high school in Parkview in Georgia. I think they went to the semifinals last year, and he kind of led them.
That's the checkerboard end zones, right? Orange and white.
Orange and white.
There you go.
You just got to get used to that.
Yep.
You find that you find that you're used to that.
It's
so get
home.
to it. Yeah.
Just going home.
Yeah.
Just going home. You got anything else for this 2021 class you want to talk about?
No, I love talking recruiting, man. Recruiting is fun to talk, especially when you're recruiting well. It's fun to talk about.
That makes it more fun.
Yeah.
Before we kind of get away from college ball, I know we're about to talk about NBA and whatnot. The Pac-12 players. So they sent out a read it correctly. Their Pac-12 football unity demands. So they're essentially just coming together, uniting, I guess, under one cause. It's essentially, I'm going to see if I can,
one heartbeat.
yeah. I'm going to see if I can pull it up and see if you guys can read this. It's on the Players Tribune. If you get a chance, go check it out. Pretty much just talking about essentially not getting paid up till now and not getting compensated. And now it's turned to where they're worried about how they're going to be treated with COVID going on. What are the issues? So I'll scroll down to this. Hopefully you guys can see it. So it's the Pac-12 football unity demands to protect and benefit both scholarship and walk-on athletes. The first list is health and safety protections. Goes through a couple how they want to see. I don't know if you guys can read this good. Sorry if you can't. Hopefully you can on at least if you're on a computer, you probably can. I'll go full screen here. Goes to talk about the health and safety protocols, and then protect all sports. So they want they want to end. One of the things they want to do is end lavish facility expenditures and use some endowment funds to preserve all sports. So me and you talked about this when Stanford cut the sports, and they have a $27 billion endowment.
Ooh.
And they cut sports because of funding. So it actually mentions that in here, how they want Stanford to reinstate.
Oh, man.
Yeah. $27 billion.
Of demands.
Well, is
it demands to the team or is it demands to the NCAA?
To the Pac-12 to adopt these rules. So yes, the NCAA.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, they're right in a way.
I just don't like the Pac-12. I think they're terrible. Oregon's like the only decent one in that conference.
Yeah, and then they talk about end racial injustice in college sports and society. Pretty much what they're saying is the NCAA needs to put their money. We're having some technical difficulties. Put their money where their mouth is, as far as saying Black Lives Matters. They want 2% of conference revenue to be directed by players to support financial aid for low income. Economic equity. Go read these. Go check them out in their entirety. I think there's some good things. There's some things. All right, sorry about that. Hopefully it's working now. But yeah, go check that out. I think it's just really, as far as compensation goes, athletes, there does something need to be fixed for compensation. One thing we've talked about, we're still having some trouble. One thing we've talked about is how the athletes need to be. Why can they not profit off their own likeness?
Yeah,
and that's supposed to be something that the NCAA is changing. So hopefully that is taking place. I don't know.
I don't hate the demands. I'm just like, is this the right time to be doing demands when everything else is changing? I don't know.
Well,
maybe it's the best time. I don't know.
The only thing I'm kind of like worried about, because I think there's things that need to be addressed. Do athletes need to be compensated more fairly? Yes. Do we also need to recognize that athletes are compensated? Yes. I think that's one thing kind of that fails the movement or whatever. These athletes are getting checks every month for
whatever.
I can't remember what they're called, but the checks that come every month that pay for their college expense check or whatever. And it's not much. And it could, especially like programs like Tennessee, it could be a lot more. Should college coaches be getting paid some of the absurd amounts they're getting paid?
Stipend?
Yeah, their stipend. Yeah. Should they be getting paid? Some of these college football contracts are absurd. Some of the facilities getting built are absurd.
Oh, yeah.
And you're talking about guys, when we talk about guys staying out of trouble, and they're going home to some terrible conditions. That's like, surely you can recognize that is an issue. Are they getting a college scholarship? Yeah. Is that invaluable? Yes. But if they're not able to earn money, if they're not able to, if they go home in the summer and they have zero money, what are you really doing for the athlete? For 4 years, what are you really doing for the athlete? They should be able to profit off their likeness. They should get compensated fairly for their time because they're making money. Whether you like it or not, they're generating millions and millions of dollars a year in revenue.
And they don't get to touch it.
And they don't see any of it. That's one thing the Pac-12 asks is to divide it up. I don't know how. I think it's going to take a lot to look. Logistically, it is going to be something to figure out. Things are going to be structured differently. Coaches' salaries are going to be structured differently. Facilities aren't going to be the same. But I feel like that everyone's acting like that's bad change. How is that bad change? I feel like those changes can be for the better. A lot of athletes would rather get a check every month than have a overly nice locker room.
Yeah, and if those players get compensated, I mean, look at Joe Burrow. You think Joe Burrow's not going to give back any money that he earns and give it back to LSU later on?
Yeah.
I mean, that would let me, or that would make me want to give more to the university.
I think about the lesser guys who maybe don't play but go on to be successful in other things.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be more inclined to do that.
You're being taken care of, better. And a lot of guys, because they grow up differently and they get to the school and they appreciate some of the ways they're compensated other than money, but they don't have to go home to what some of these guys have to go home to in the summer or over winter break or over spring break, whatever it may be. And again, I do think we need to recognize that they are compensated, but fairly. And the bottom line is they should be able to profit off their likeness. That should change tomorrow and be done.
Yeah.
And then I think the other things are things you can work towards doing. Mm-hmm. Justin Sanday said, "What's happening, guys? Not much, man. We're ready for the season to start. September 26th. 55 days, right?
Hopefully it's against Florida.
Hopefully, I want Florida. Week 1.
Oh, are we starting that? No more. We want Florida.
Week 1.
Okay.
Open it up with Florida.
Yeah, maybe they're just so if it is those two, they have to play Texas A&M, Alabama, and LSU. Then maybe they're just so down about that. Then we just sneak by them.
I don't even want. I want their best shot. Kyle Trask, more like Kyle Trash. I want him. I want them all. Give them to me, dude. I don't know.
We need some of those Dan Mullen's wife kisses.
No, we don't. That was the start of COVID. That's why it's so hot. The hot spot is Florida. Dan Mullen's wife's out here kissing everybody she sees. She's like the freaking Pope.
Yes, ma'am. I love to kiss your baby.
I was about to ask you something. I don't remember. I don't know. It had to do with the SEC. No clue. Let's do it. Let's get into SEC games. So NBA's back.
NBA.
Finally. I didn't win any money Thursday night though. So that's.
Oh,
I did a fantasy team. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't.
Who'd you have?
Bet.
Or you don't have to name everybody. Just a couple.
I don't remember everybody off the top of my head. I did have LeBron. Who else did I have from the Lakers?
Dwight Howard.
No. I was going to
Caruso.
Wasn't Caruso. I might have had. Is it JaVale? Is JaVale McGhee on the Lakers?
Yeah, he is.
I guess I had JaVale McGhee. I don't even remember who all I had that night. I wanted to get Zion just because I thought they'd let him loose, but thank God it played 15 minutes. It's absurd.
And they're
not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, they're trying to get an 8 seed.
They're not going to. No, they're not trying. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's
ridiculous.
It's so dumb.
I do love that LeBron has lost. I think it's the last 8 games to the Raptors. That's funny to me. That's very comical.
Yeah, it's like before he got there, they've lost 8.
Well, the last 2 series the Lakers have played against the Raptors, though, they've lost.
Okay.
Yeah. So, that's a fun stat that should never be real.
Right. Yeah. Especially without Kawhi.
Without Kawhi.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kawhi Leonard.
They're a bunch of misfits. The Raptors are a good team, but they are a bunch of good misfits.
It's the same thing last year, though, too.
Yeah.
I guess you could even classify Kawhi. Well, in a different way, he's a misfit.
Pascal Siakam was in the G League. And now he's starting. Fred VanVleet was he's a great 6-man, but he's always been like
he's not
just a role player.
Right, he's not a phenomenal player.
And now he's, one of the best players on that team. Kyle Lowry was, no one even cared about Kyle Lowry. They're like, oh, this is another overweight point guard. Yeah, they're just a bunch of misfits. I like how they.
You like the misfit teams?
I definitely don't. I don't think they win anything in the playoffs.
No.
They're not going to beat the 70s. Well, they could beat the 76ers. They might make it in the East.
How about Tobias putting up 41? Is that what it was? And they lost? They lose that game? Yeah.
No, he had 30.
31?
Yeah,
and
Joel Embiid
had 41? And they lost?
Yeah, TJ Warren put up 50.
Yoicks.
And they
Did you see that Bobo play? That was like watching
pass?
Female high school basketball.
The pass?
No, the rebound. The 8 rebounds. Because he's just taller than everybody.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like watching, like I've seen this play in women's
Did you
high
see
school
his
women's
pass
basketball.
the other night?
I don't think I did.
He looked like a freaking point guard. He just like you know how they just throw it super hard?
Okay, I did see that.
Oh my god.
I couldn't remember if I did.
I'm surprised he has that much strength in his arms. They're like freaking noodles.
It's the torque that he gets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's like a slingshot.
Yeah, exactly. That dude is an interesting looking fella. How tall is he?
7'2".
7'2".
I have a question. Pat Lee says, what if athletes take the season off? They're entitled to keep their scholarship, but if a lot take this route, will there really be a season worth anything?
I think that could determine that. I mean, you're looking at the Pac-12 right now, probably doesn't have a season because they can't possibly meet those listed demands
Right.
in one season. So unless they're just, unless they're only, which that would be a terrible way to protest, to be like, if you guys just promise us, we'll come back. So it looks like the Pac-12 isn't happening unless they accept some kind of like bargaining agreement where it's like, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
Then I think you can conclude the Pac-12 will not happen.
That's wild.
But they've also moved to conference only, so I think you could see some conferences play and some not. I think that's possible.
Well, the good thing is, it'd be like it's like they're not there anyway because they play at like 10 o'clock at night, so no one actually watches it.
Right. Right, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's going to be interesting, especially for guys that, could go. Like Trevor Lawrence, perfect example. Does he...
If he doesn't play this season or the season doesn't happen or whatever, he's not coming back. Like, that was his last game at Clemson.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the dude from, is it Virginia Tech, the cornerback?
Virginia Tech, yeah. Caleb Laney?
I don't
Something like that.
remember. I think he was a good, it can be done. But if Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, one of them, opt out, I think you're going to see a lot more people follow that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it depends on because I think there's a lot of guys that know they need one more year of college football to prove it. But yeah, I mean, and a lot of guys are going to find out too, if they kind of go back and look at history. When you're in your prime, taking a year off from football is not the worst thing in the world, especially for your body.
Yeah.
Like you're going to come back healthy most of the time, almost all the time. And if you're a good player, teams are going to still pick you up. Now, it's going to definitely be different being a rookie coming in and trying to get picked up with a year off. But it's not the worst thing in the world to take a year off. Where I think a lot of people think it's so detrimental. It's not terribly detrimental.
I hope it works out for Jeremy Banks. That'd be nice.
It'd be great for Jeremy Banks. Would be come back healthier and better.
Look what it did for Juwan.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, the assumption's been Jeremy has been working this entire time to try to get back on the team and be better. So hopefully he's been training. The rumor was, I don't know if it's true, the rumor was Juwan wasn't necessarily working while he was away from the program. That was the rumor.
Oh.
I don't know if it's true, but
it worked out.
It worked
Whatever
out.
he did.
I mean, there was a rumor that he wasn't Juwan, and I never confirmed. I never looked. There was a rumor that he wasn't enrolled in school. That turned out to not be true. So that rumor could also be completely false. So I don't know, but it definitely, you definitely have to put in a different type of work. Do all these athletes who haven't necessarily, and not the guys like Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, the guys at the top of their game right now that have worked, they're gonna grind wherever they're at. Mm-hmm. But some of the guys that may be working hard, hard enough to get to the NFL is maybe some of your issues right now. Can you afford to take that year off? And are you going to get good advice when it comes to that?
Yeah. Do people just be like, yeah, you should take this year off, and then it ends up hurting you down the line?
That's another thing, too, I kind of worry about when you talk about paying college athletes. If you're paying college athletes, agents are going to be brought in, period. That's how it works. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, whatever, But the thing I hate about the agents, and especially when you're talking about guys who were 17 years old to 22 years old that probably aren't getting good advice from home, now they're going to let these dudes who usually come in and prey on them. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot of money moved around not in appropriate places that could hurt people's futures.
I think Trey Smith is an interesting one to watch because I'm sure people are being like, oh, Trey Smith probably won't play because he already has, issues. I mean, Trey Smith is one that probably needed a year.
I don't think
to prove or to be drafted in the first round to prove that he could
he can play a whole season with this condition. Yeah. And I feel like the fact that he's already on campus, unless things just drastically change in the next month, I don't see him taking the year off.
No, I don't either. And I don't think that's his nature anyway. He probably wouldn't do it. Even if he got advice from everybody else, he's going to do it his way.
Probably.
But yeah, I just think that would... I think he could really benefit for playing a full season.
Yeah, I do too.
And in 10 games, I think that's...
Plenty.
Yeah, that probably helps him a little bit. Yep. You don't have to play as much, but you also get tape to prove that you can be drafted in the first round.
Yep, absolutely.
Back to the NBA. So...
Oh, sorry.
I kind of like how they have at least like the team's logo on the. It's not the half court logo, but at least they have like the logo somewhere on the court.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's kind of cool. I mean, try to make it as. I think with everything, try to make it as normal as possible.
Right. I agree.
And it's super weird. I think they have like the screens everywhere with.
So they're bringing like fans in on Zoom, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is, but it's also like
a lot of money. I'm sure that's a lot of money.
You're just like. Yay. If you saw me cheer, I don't know. You might enjoy watching me in my living room for Tennessee games.
Yeah.
You'd be probably really annoyed, actually.
Yeah, I'd probably be upset more times than not.
Anything else for the NBA?
I don't know. I'm interested to see, like... Because it was a long time off. So, do the best teams still...
I think it probably helps the best teams.
Oh, really?
Because they've been able to rest. Because like when you're looking in May, or April, you're probably thinking, oh, injury, the wear and tear of a full season is starting to wear in on. Now you're looking at the teams that have stayed healthy, have maybe had the easier back end of the season, things like that. Probably play into it a little bit more. Now the best players on the best teams are gonna excel more than they probably necessarily would have in April and May.
Right. I think it's gonna be interesting to see who ends up, and like I know people are gonna say, yeah, it's an asterisk season, but like 4 years down the line, no one's gonna be like, oh, they won that title, but
it's gonna be an asterisk. People are still gonna talk about it.
I don't think they're gonna be talking about it as much as people think. I think they'll kind of forget that they only the NBA basically played a full season anyway. The MLB would have more of an asterisk.
MLB is definitely gonna have an asterisk, 100%. I just think everybody's going to remember anything that, like college football this year. An SEC team is probably either going to compete for it heavily or win it anyways. But when you look at the winner of the SEC, who will probably self-proclaim themselves national champions, I don't blame them, I would too. Everybody's going to be like, that's even if they try to play a college football playoff, even if you have it, they're going to be asterisks. But that's probably the best team anyways. Same kind of scenario.
So yeah, I think the college football playoff, you could do a bubble.
Yeah.
I think that would... You could do a 2-week bubble in Orlando or wherever.
You'd probably technically have to do
or 3
weeks. In terms of like testing and making sure symptoms aren't showing up. Probably at least 3 weeks. But you could, yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. You definitely could.
Yeah.
But I think regardless, any season that happens shorter and kind of abbreviated and in a different style, it's going to be. Especially if like players get sick in the NBA. Like, if you're talking about a player from any team has to sit out a series because of they came down with COVID symptoms or whatever.
Yeah, that's true. But it could also be like injury.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I think NBA played enough where there shouldn't be an asterisk. Whoever wins this, I think was.
I mean, I don't think the NBA is going to put it down as an asterisk, but everybody's going to remember.
Right.
Well, they won the COVID season.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I think MLB is a lot different.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Because if you get one guy hurt and he's out for a couple months, he's probably done.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Because usually you can like start of the season, he's in at full swing, and you have a starting pitcher go down.
I mean,
he could be back
if a pitcher gets injured, he can't go rehab at Double-A. Like
Right.
he doesn't get that opportunity. He
Right.
can't. Yeah, it's definitely different.
Yep.
So, but I think NBA. I agree. I mean, I think NBA is different, but everybody's gonna remember. Like I said, especially if something like a player having to sit out a game or a series because of symptoms.
Dude, I've watched a ton of. I've probably watched more baseball than I did all of last season, besides the postseason.
I definitely
Regular season, I've watched a lot more games already.
I 100% have. So, there's zero doubt about that.
Do you have any more questions?
I do not. Let me check. Actually, Kels, I'm sorry. I haven't been on Twitter.
West Rainy said, "Go Vols, baby."
Go Vols. Let's get into some most important of the week.
Most important. So I want to mention this, and I do like the Yankees, but I thought this was very interesting. So Gio Urshela, who is currently the Yankees' third baseman.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, he was not. He was in their AAA team in Scranton, and Miguel Andujar gets hurt out for the year. Or gets hurt, and then he opts out to have season-ending surgery later. But Urshela takes his spot. Has a great year. Blah, blah, blah. He made his... let me see where the... So he was with the Indians, then the Blue Jays. So in 2018, he got traded to the Yankees. Guess how much they got him for? $25,000. They just paid cash for him.
Yeah, I mean that's nothing to them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's nothing. So $25,000. The guy hits a grand slam last night.
You got your
He's
money's worth
starting
right there.
third base for the New York Yankees. Like that is insane to me. Like he was lost in a
Right.
at the Toronto Blue Jays.
I mean, it's insane
Right.
that he's not still in AAA to get
Yeah,
or,
and then
and Double-A, Single A, whatever with that kind of money.
right, and then he 25. Yeah, we'll take him for $25K. We need a backup.
So did
third
he
baseman.
show? So he showed up to New York, like playing for the Yankees, or has he been going through their minor league system?
So yeah, he's been in AAA, and
Okay.
then last year,
Gotcha.
Andujar gets hurt, and they call
That'd be
him
even
up.
crazier if he just shows up at spring training and makes the 40-man and makes and then
Yeah,
gets on their roster without even
this
going
was
through that.
in 2018. He got, and then he was kind of like lost in New York. Just, hey, we'll have you down here in case we need you.
Yeah,
And we needed him.
still
And
pretty
now-
crazy. I mean-
and now he's the starting third baseman this year. Like,
I feel like
Kind of-
25,000 and throwing him on your AAA team is still like what a steal.
yeah, exactly. It was insane.
That's crazy.
And hits a grand slam last night against the Red Sox.
So how many games did they win against the Red Sox then? 'Cause they won Friday night too, didn't they?
So no,
They lost Friday night, or they started last night.
They started it last night.
Oh,
They
okay.
played the Orioles
I thought I saw
Friday.
that. Okay, I thought I saw they beat. See, my days are running together now. I've got my first one's Christian Pulisic. First off, he scored a goal against Arsenal.
Oh, you're right. They did play.
They did play Friday night.
Yeah.
Okay. Arsenal did still win, so that's another most important in the FA Cup final. Christian Pulisic scored a goal. Then he goes down with an injury. But have you seen his play yet? He runs like 20 yards on a pulled hamstring. Like you can see the moment it probably, I don't know what they officially said his injury was, probably tore it. I mean, it looks nasty. He's running full speed. You can see the moment it pops. He gets that little like hitch in his step and he screams, finishes out the play, even gets a shot off. I mean, that one didn't go in. You shouldn't expect it to. But I just love that people want to, say soccer. First off, soccer's not the only sport that dives or embellishes. Every sport does it. Football has now where the players go down when on the up-tempo offense.
Oh yeah.
NBA has always had it. You just now have cameras on them all the time to be able to easily tell that it's happening. But then you have a guy who, there's not a lot of athletes in the world that would finish off a play like this. The next angle you can see when it pops. Finishes out his run. I mean, that, if you've never had a hamstring pull, tear, whatever, that's one of the worst pairs.
It's like a shot. Like you.
Yeah. Oh,
instantly
yeah.
get
You
it.
just immediately get that hitch. First off, also, Christian Pulisic is an absolute baller. If the United States doesn't get a team around him that can go to a World Cup, I hope he leaves. I hope he tries to. I don't know what the rules are for FIFA exactly. You can change teams for an certain amount of time. I hope he does. I hope he does it. Because the U.S. men's national team pisses me off to no end. Because we're just terrible.
Yeah.
We're just terrible. And we show no commitment to fix it. It's the worst thing in the world.
It sucks.
It's so sad. I just want to play in a World Cup. That's it. Just play in a World Cup. It's not too much to ask.
That'd be fun. I had a great time the last time we were in the
Exactly.
World Cup.
It's always fun.
Yeah. My next most important is Patrick Mahomes buying part ownership in the Kansas City Royals.
That's insane. I wonder how much.
Somebody got paid.
They say how
he's like
spending it.
well,
Spending
I
it
don't know
like
what to do
I
with all this. Yeah.
What was it, like $40 million guaranteed in that contract? Was it $500 million?
Yeah.
I think it was. Let's see if I can look it up. Look up his contract details. I've got Mookie Betts. Did you see that throw from right field?
Oh, dude, he's so good. I'm so glad he's not on the Red Sox anymore.
Rope. I just love that the dude. I think the guy tried to slide, but there was no need to even do it. Like, you got tagged standing up from freaking right field on a line drive too.
Oh yeah. And it wasn't like a slow dude.
No. Mookie's ridiculous.
That's what you call hose.
Yeah. He's ridiculous. I'm looking for the guaranteed in Mahomes contract.
I don't have any more most important.
I don't think I do either. I had a couple fails though.
I do have a fail. Judge homered again, so that's his 5th in 5 games. I just got a notification that he homered again.
$140 million guaranteed, is that right? That man got $140 million.
He bought
Just
the freaking
the
Royals.
moment he signed that's ridiculous. I wonder how much he got like the day of. What that account hit.
Can
What was
he
that
buy
like?
the Chiefs too?
Probably.
Is that? I don't know what the rules are with that, but that'd be funny.
Well, I know that you can offer ownership like in players' deals. I don't know when that ownership would kick in, but
Gotcha.
can you do it in football? I think you can in baseball. I don't know. If anybody knows, let me know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, most important, high school football starts practice tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know if Knox County will be contact or not. I don't think they've said yet. No, they did say.
Yeah, they are.
They are contact.
Yep.
That's right.
The pads are popping tomorrow. It's gonna be interesting how that plays out. But hey, that's something exciting.
We'll see how long it lasts. I'm not confident in it.
My first fail is so LSU got their COVID face shield helmets.
They
Did you
look
see it?
incredibly tight. Like, they look very close to their face.
A linebacker's like, I can't effing breathe under this thing, and then somebody was like, an offensive lineman was like, it's like breathing in a Ziploc bag. That's definitely not gonna work.
Yeah. You're probably gonna die if that's real.
I mean, he was just talking.
Yeah, and it was fogging up.
Yeah, it was fogging up. It was awful.
It's not gonna work.
No.
There's no way. My first one is Bryson DeChambeau on the PGA Tour. He called a rules official over and tried to convince him that he was in a dangerous situation because he saw a couple of fire ants.
A couple? Like,
So apparently he was like, there's an ant right there. It's a fire ant. Whereas, like, if it was a rattlesnake, they'd be like, yeah, you can drop your ball. You don't have to hit right next to the rattlesnake. Or an alligator, or like an animal that could seriously harm you. Or if it was probably on a fire ant hill, then they would probably allow you to remove your ball, and so you're not in a dangerous situation. The rules official was like, I don't even see any ants.
yeah, this man thinks
It's
he's on like
incredible.
Naked and Afraid. Jesus.
Incredible. Absolutely.
A couple. Like, I love that it was a couple fire. Like, it wasn't like a whole net.
Yeah,
it was
like-
like a big.
Because he probably would have gotten free relief had it been like an ant hill.
Yeah.
That was fire ants. But yeah, you're not getting.
There's one, and
Yeah.
I saw one over there.
one a little bit closer by somewhere. I don't know. Probably weren't even fire ants. That's the best part.
What a moron. That's all I got for fails.
Thought I had one more.
I need to get a COVID face shield.
Oh, Washington State. So apparently they are. I need to find out like if it's real, but apparently Theo Lawson, whatever he covers, he was on the phone with John Woods. He's the father of a wide receiver, Cassidy Woods, who says Cassidy was told to clean out his locker tomorrow. He's technically on scholarship, but was released from the team after sharing the graphic, we are united about the demands. Why Washington State? Why are you that dumb?
Yeah, that's a lawsuit.
You're gonna lose. It's bad publicity. You're gonna lose. Why?
Oh, like
That's absurd.
Why did you give it to them in the first place?
Don't
Why
be
was it
stupid.
available to them?
What do you mean?
Like the graphic, how was it?
Oh no, I'm sure because I'm sure a player had it made
Okay.
and he tweeted it out, but apparently he's being released from the team for it.
Oh my gosh.
If it's true, I mean, we'll see in the coming days. But just are you that dumb?
Yeah, and again, another thing, like we're worrying about the wrong stuff right now. That should be the least of your worries. Somebody tweeting out a graphic, and it's not even like if it was a bad graphic, like
Yeah, that's again. We'll
but
see.
just
if this is
because
true.
he got it out before the Pac-12 did, that's an issue. Or
No.
or
So
Washington State?
the We Unite movement, or We Are United, is the players, the group of players demanding those things from the Pac-12.
Oh, okay.
But you're gonna.
Yeah, that's so dumb. Whatever.
Yeah, this is incredibly stupid.
Mike Leach wouldn't have that.
So apparently they're not. Now they're saying they're not being cut. I don't know.
That's weird.
Who knows? Who knows what's going
The
on?
fact that it's even a debate is so stupid.
Yeah, it's like I mean I get maybe you don't want them doing those things, but you cannot cut them for that. You're never gonna win that battle.
No.
Ever. Apparently oh god, dude, it's gonna be a mess. Especially if that's true. If Washington State players are really getting cut for that, it's gonna be true.
They're just trying to hit that 85 mark. That's what they're doing.
So this Theo Lawson dude who's tweeting said he covers Washington State football and basketball. Yeah. So
That's wild.
don't do that. Don't be dumb. Don't be dumb. God bless.
Oh, did you notice I wore my recruiting
The
shirt?
recruiting shirt. Gotta
Yeah.
recruit. Gotta wear the recruiting shirt.
Yeah, gotta wear it. I had a shirt.
Have we
lined
found
up.
out why that is a recruiting shirt?
Somebody said it in the chat.
Right,
They're
right.
Oh, like where's that? I guess because the stars maybe, but it's just a tri-star. But hey,
I kind of like that now.
it's becoming a thing.
I didn't see it from that perspective, but now I kind of like it.
Yeah, recruiting shirt.
Nice. Well, guys, we're gonna hop off here Wednesday or some days. The next episode, 200, the big 200.
200. That's our anniversary.
Yeah.
Might need to buy each other a gift or something. No.
We're gonna drink on the next episode. We're gonna do
Okay,
celebrate
yeah.
200.
Yeah,
Pop
there we
champagne bottles. Think Raven will be mad? We can hang up.
She'll probably make me clean it, so I will probably be a little bit mad.
We'll hang the plastic up. It'll be okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so we'll send out that announcement though soon because it's episode 200. Maybe some special stuff in the works. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see about it. But we do appreciate you guys for listening. Like always, you can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Twitter and Facebook. Also on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play. Anywhere you listen to a podcast, you can find more important issues. We always appreciate you guys listening. Check out YouTube. Check out Twitter. Check out Facebook. Like, subscribe, retweet, whatever you're on. Do it. We appreciate you guys always.
Guys, football season is coming up. We're Brandon Kennedy days away.
Oh, nice.
55. Keep being safe out there, please. Please, for everybody.
Please, wear a mask.
We're bringing the boat in, and we out.